Cliffieland. This is Week in Country number 192 on our second attempt of cooking the food of every single country in the world. Tonight we're up to the nation of Zambia. Zambia, a landlocked country located in the nexus of Central, Eastern, and Southern Africa, is surrounded by 8 different countries, and it is a beautiful country known very famously for being where one place you could go to see the Victoria Falls, the famous waterfalls, most beautiful falls probably in the world, and of course all that great African wildlife. It's a great place to go on safari as well. Insofar as the food, you're going to find a lot of dishes in the larger cities that are influenced by the former European colonizers, but overall throughout the country you're going to find lots of dishes that involve a lot of native greens as well as pulses and local fruits and lots of fish, either fish from the lakes, rivers, or dried salted fish brought in from elsewhere. In terms of the dishes that I was able to find, it was pretty hard for me to find a lot of traditional recipes. I did find one place that had them, and that's where our things last time and this time came from. In terms of what's in those dishes, it turns out there's not a whole lot of spices in them. Mostly there's just salt. And one thing you'll definitely find is Nshima, which is a pounded cornmeal. They're usually made with white cornmeal. Unfortunately, as you'll see, we weren't able to find white cornmeal, and neither were we able to find wild spinach. A lot of these great African dishes, it's really hard to find the actual ingredients that are used there to be cooked here, so we have to make do, and I apologize for that. But now we need to see what we did when we did this whole thing last time around. Well, 5 years ago on the Global Cooking Challenge, I was able to cook and stream across 2 nights, and the first night we did what we're going to be doing here. We made that pounded cornmeal, and that time I did find white cornmeal, which came out very nicely, and we did that with 2 relishes. And what they call a relish, it would be the things that are eaten along with that cornmeal. In this case, we made a spinach relish, which was very delicious, and we made a mushroom and dried fish relish, which was also very delicious. On the second night, we made cornmeal again, and we did that with a collard green relish as well as one other one, and that was very nice and it's very tasty, but that's not the one we're doing. So what we're doing tonight again is the cornmeal mash served along with the mushroom and dried fish relish and the spinach relish, and it's all very delicious. And now we need to see what go into tonight's 3 items.
First, for our mushrooms in dried fish Ndiwo or relish, we'll need 2 cups of fresh mushrooms, 1 medium-sized dried fish. We're using smoked fish here since that's all that was available. 1 onion, 3 cloves of garlic, 2 medium tomatoes, 2 teaspoons of cooking oil. We're using canola oil here. 1 green pepper, 2 cups of water, and salt to taste. And then for our wild spinach, we'll need 3 handfuls of wild spinach leaves, whatever that means. We're using baby spinach here since that's all that was available. 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, or half a cup of pounded ground nuts, aka peanuts, which is what we will be using. 1 medium tomato, 1 medium onion, and salt to taste. And lastly, for our Nshima or Zambian cornmeal cake, we'll need 2 cups of water and 1 cup of plain cornmeal. Traditionally, this would be white cornmeal in Zambia, but seeing as that wasn't available here, we're using yellow cornmeal. Also, we have adjusted this recipe from the original 4 servings down to 2.
That looks like it's gonna be really good. Again, really tricky to find stuff, but hopefully I did okay, and now we need to get cooking.
First, soak the dried fish in cold water for 45 minutes. Remove the bones from the fish and break them into bite-sized pieces. Put the fish in a pot, add water, bring it to a boil, and reduce the heat to simmer. Simmer for 1 hour. Meanwhile, wash and chop the mushrooms. Add the chopped mushrooms to the fish and cook for 10 minutes. And to the pot, add the cooking oil, salt, green pepper, garlic, tomato, and onion, and simmer for 30 minutes. Cut the spinach into pieces. Place the spinach in a small pot. Add the cooking oil or the ground nuts / peanuts. Then chop the tomatoes, chop the onion, add those to the pot, add salt, and simmer for 20 minutes. Pour the water into a medium cooking pot. Heat the water for 3 to 4 minutes until lukewarm, approximately 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Using 1 tablespoon at a time, sprinkle about 1/3 of the cup of the cornmeal to the water while stirring continuously with a wooden spoon. Keep stirring slowly until the mixture begins to thicken and boil. Turn the heat to medium, cover the pot, and let it simmer for 3 to 5 minutes. Cautiously, remove the lid. Slowly, pour the remainder of the cornmeal into the pot and stir with a spoon until smooth and thick. Stir vigorously. Sprinkle more cornmeal and stir if you want it to be thicker or less if you want it to be thinner. Cover and turn off the heat and let it sit on the stove for another 2 to 3 minutes. And be sure to serve hot.
How did that turn out? Well, like last time, it was very tasty. I was really surprised that the smoked fish that I wound up using tasted a lot like the dried fish we did back when we actually got dried fish, when we found an African market when we cooked the food of Cameroon a long, long time ago. Spoiler alert, that market's gone now, so I wasn't able to find that. But it tasted really good. It had really great aroma. The cornmeal mash was polenta. It was very tasty. This time I had the good sense to have it be hot. I'm gonna give that one 4 out of 5 globes. Traditionally, that would be eaten with your hands, and you'd have kind of a bowl with water and clean your hands and grab everything. Unfortunately, we don't really do that here, but still, it was tasty nonetheless. And along with that spinach relish, that was very tasty. It had nice flavors with it. I did salted it well, so that helped. That gets 3 out of 5 globes. But the fish and mushroom was really, really good. I was really surprised how good it was. It had a lot of great depth of flavor, and it went very nicely with the cornmeal, so I can see how that is considered a staple. That one gets 4 out of 5 globes. So yay, Zambia. We have only one country left on the 193 United Nations countries. More details on that next time. But next time we will be on our very last UN country when we have the food of Zimbabwe. See you then. These are not my original recipes. Links to the original recipes and their authors can be found in the About section. If you have any thoughtful feelings or helpful suggestions about what I'm doing, feel free to sound off in the comments here. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when these videos are posted. And of course, you can always follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Thanks for coming by. See you next time. Happy eating.